She was an actress with big potential. Then Brittany Murphy died young. Well, now a new HBO Max documentary is looking into the star's troubled final years.
It's your first look at the blockbuster documentary that reveals new chilling information about the mysterious death of actress Brittany Murphy.
The ongoing scandal surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has taken a chilling turn, with new allegations suggesting that he may have deliberately poisoned individuals who possessed damaging information about him. Recent revelations claim that additional witnesses have come forward, alleging ties between Diddy and actor Ashton Kutcher to the tragic and highly suspicious death of actress Brittany Murphy. Both Murphy and Diddy's ex-partner, Kim Porter, passed away under eerily similar circumstances, both dying young and having their deaths ruled as pneumonia-related. These unsettling parallels, coupled with their associations with Diddy, are raising alarm bells, leaving fans and investigators alike questioning whether there is a darker story lurking behind these untimely deaths. Over the years, Diddy has been entangled in numerous rumors involving some of Hollywood's most shocking and mysterious events. From his alleged ties to the deaths of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G., to claims he sabotaged relationships to pursue personal gains, his name has never strayed far from controversy. One enduring theory involves Diddy's alleged involvement in Brittany Murphy's unexpected death. Initially, Murphy's death was attributed to a combination of pneumonia, anemia, and prescription medication use, a seemingly straightforward explanation. However, subsequent investigations and emerging testimonies have turned the narrative on its head. At one point, rumors of black mold poisoning emerged, with many speculating that toxic mold in Brittany's home could have caused her death. However, no physical evidence of mold was ever found in her house, and the theory was ultimately dismissed. Things took a darker turn when Brittany's father, Angelo Bertolotti, expressed skepticism about the official findings and hired a private investigator. This decision led to a bombshell discovery. Traces of heavy metal poisoning were allegedly found in Brittany's system, with levels far exceeding normal ranges. What's even more troubling is that these toxins are often associated with substances like rat poison or insecticides. What adds further weight to the suspicion is the apparent connection between Brittany's death and that of Kim Porter, who died nearly a decade later. Porter's death was similarly attributed to pneumonia, but whispers of foul play have persisted, especially considering that both women had voiced concerns about their safety before their untimely deaths. In Brittany's case, she reportedly confided in friends, expressing fears that someone was deliberately trying to harm her. Kim Porter allegedly shared similar fears, telling close confidants that she believed her life was in danger. The parallels are impossible to ignore and have only fueled speculation about a larger conspiracy involving Diddy. Adding even more complexity to the narrative is the death of Brittany's husband, Simon Monjack, which occurred just months after hers. Like Brittany, Simon's cause of death was also attributed to pneumonia and anemia. The statistical improbability of two people in the same household dying of identical causes within a short span of time has led many to question whether these were truly natural deaths. Brittany's sudden passing at the age of 32 shocked Hollywood and left her fans searching for answers. The events surrounding her death, including Simon's bizarre behavior and the couple's alleged paranoia, have only deepened the mystery. Simon Monjack's actions before and after Brittany's death raised significant red flags. Notably, Simon was initially against an autopsy being performed on Brittany, though legally, he couldn't prevent it. When the autopsy results were eventually released, they described her death as accidental, caused by pneumonia and anemia, with multiple drug intoxications as contributing factors. Yet, the specifics of those drugs were never fully disclosed, leaving many questions unanswered. Simon's public statements added to the confusion. He claimed that Brittany was taking only harmless herbal remedies, a narrative that didn't align with the toxicology findings. Fans and investigators began suspecting that Simon might have had more to hide. Adding to the intrigue was Brittany's mother, Sharon Murphy, who also lived with the couple and initially supported Simon's statements about Brittany's health. However, Sharon's own behavior later raised suspicions. She claimed that Brittany might have had an undiagnosed heart condition, but later shifted her stance, suggesting that toxic mold in the home could have been responsible. This theory, however, was debunked after experts found no trace of mold-related toxins in Brittany's system. Sharon's inconsistent statements and refusal to pursue further investigations into her daughter's death led some to question her motives. In the months leading up to her death, Brittany reportedly became increasingly paranoid, taking extreme precautions to secure her home, including the installation of fingerprint locks and CCTV cameras. Friends recalled her avoiding certain foods and drinks, fearing they might be poisoned. Her growing fear of harm suggests she may have felt targeted by powerful individuals in Hollywood. Could these fears have been linked to her connections to Ashton Kutcher and, by extension, Sean "Diddy" Combs? Ashton Kutcher, who briefly dated Brittany in the early 2000s, has remained conspicuously silent about her death. Their relationship ended abruptly, reportedly due to Ashton's infidelity, and he quickly moved on to a high-profile relationship with Demi Moore. What's particularly curious is Ashton's close friendship with Diddy, whose infamous freak-off parties have been the subject of disturbing allegations over the years. Some believe that Brittany may have been exposed to troubling information about Diddy and Ashton's activities during their time together. If Brittany knew too much, could this knowledge have made her a target? Brittany Murphy was a beloved actress whose talent and charm earned her a devoted fanbase. From iconic roles in films like Clueless to her stunning performances in dramas, she was a shining star in early 2000s Hollywood. Yet, behind the scenes, her life was far from glamorous. Her sudden and tragic death remains one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries, with new allegations and connections coming to light even years later. As fans and investigators dig deeper, the ties between Diddy, Ashton Kutcher, and the circumstances of Brittany's death continue to raise more questions than answers.
Now the HBO documentary, What Happened, Brittany Murphy, alleges Monjack was a con artist and contributed to her death. Brittany's friend, actress Kathy Najimy, appears in the documentary.
During a little dip she was having, he came along. And I think that's where her judgment was muddled and she became prey. We all were scared and freaked out. Like, who was this guy?
And there's this shocking claim.
Simon said that he dated Elle Macpherson and Madonna. He said that he had been dying from terminal brain cancer and that he had bought an experimental treatment derived from the fins of sharks. Every single word out of his mouth was a lie.
This is where things take an even darker and more chilling turn. Just 5 months after Brittany Murphy's tragic and mysterious death, her husband, Simon Monjack, died in an eerily similar manner, pneumonia and anemia. With the toxic mold theory officially debunked, attention shifted to something far more sinister: deliberate poisoning. Years later, Brittany's father, Angelo Bertolotti, refused to let his daughter's case rest. He hired an independent lab to conduct a private investigation, and the results were both shocking and damning. Toxicology tests revealed alarmingly high levels of heavy metals in Brittany's hair, the type commonly found in rat poison and insecticides. Angelo firmly stated that he believed his daughter had been murdered. But the question remained, why didn't the initial autopsy catch this? Experts explain that heavy metal testing isn't routine unless poisoning is explicitly suspected. However, considering Brittany's repeated fears and paranoia leading up to her death, telling close friends that she believed someone was trying to poison her, why weren't these red flags taken seriously? It paints a disturbing picture of negligence or, worse, intentional ignorance on the part of those involved in the investigation. Even more unsettling are reports that Simon Monjack and Brittany's mother, Sharon Murphy, actively blocked certain tests and investigations after her death. They refused to allow environmental testing for toxic substances in the home, including further inspection for mold, despite having initially floated the mold theory as a possible cause of death. This obstruction of justice, particularly from people closest to Brittany, has led many to believe there was a cover-up in play. However, the most troubling aspect of this case is the involvement of powerful Hollywood figures, particularly Sean "Diddy" Combs and Ashton Kutcher. Diddy's name has long been associated with some of the most sinister rumors in Hollywood. His alleged involvement in orchestrating violence and controlling narratives has painted him as one of the entertainment industry's most dangerous figures. Brittany Murphy may have unknowingly found herself caught in his web. Through her relationship with Ashton Kutcher, Brittany was exposed to Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, gatherings shrouded in secrecy but repeatedly alleged to involve abuse, manipulation, and even ritualistic acts. Insiders have claimed that these parties often served as a way for Diddy to exert control over celebrities by compromising them or ensuring their silence through fear or blackmail. Ashton Kutcher, Diddy's close associate, played a central role in introducing Brittany to these circles. While Ashton and Brittany's romance was short-lived, lasting only 5 months, many now speculate that Brittany may have uncovered dark secrets about Diddy and Ashton's activities during this time. Anonymous sources have alleged that Brittany learned disturbing details about these parties, including claims of abuse, exploitation, and the use of drugs to manipulate attendees. Some of these sources suggest Brittany's suspicions about the dangerous power dynamics in Hollywood made her a threat to individuals like Diddy, who rely on their secrecy to maintain control. What's even more damning is Ashton's complete silence about Brittany after her death. While Ashton was quick to move on to a relationship with Demi Moore following his breakup with Brittany, his refusal to publicly acknowledge her passing in a meaningful way has raised eyebrows. Given his close ties to Diddy, many question whether Ashton's silence was out of guilt, fear, or complicity. Brittany's death came at a time when Ashton's name was being linked to disturbing allegations surrounding Diddy's parties. Could it be that Brittany's knowledge of these events made her a target? Adding to the suspicion is the behavior of Sharon Murphy, Brittany's mother, after Simon's death. Rather than demand answers, Sharon sold Brittany's Hollywood Hills home and abruptly stopped supporting the toxic mold theory she had initially championed. Why would a grieving mother not push for deeper investigations into her daughter's death, especially when so many red flags pointed to foul play? Some fans believe Sharon may have been manipulated or even complicit in covering up the truth, potentially out of fear for her own safety or financial gain. But the connections between Brittany, Diddy, and Ashton don't end there. During her final months, Brittany became increasingly paranoid. Reports state that she installed high-tech security systems in her home, including fingerprint locks and CCTV cameras, clear signs that she felt threatened. She confided in close friends that she believed powerful Hollywood elites were watching her and had malicious intent. Could her fears have been justified? Many now believe Brittany's paranoia was rooted in reality, and that her attempts to protect herself were a direct response to threats from individuals like Diddy and Ashton. The parallels between Brittany's death and Kim Porter's are impossible to ignore. Both women were connected to Diddy, both expressed fears for their safety, and both died under suspicious circumstances. Kim Porter was reportedly working on a tell-all book that could have exposed Diddy's darkest secrets before her untimely death. Similarly, sources suggest Brittany may have threatened to reveal what she knew about Diddy and Ashton's alleged activities. Was Brittany silenced to protect Hollywood's most powerful players? What makes this case even more disturbing is the involvement of individuals like Simon Monjack, whose shady past and questionable behavior have been well documented. Simon's history of fraud and manipulation, coupled with his refusal to allow thorough investigations into Brittany's death, raises serious questions about his role in the events leading up to her passing. Could Simon have been complicit in poisoning Brittany, either directly or under the influence of more powerful figures like Diddy? As details continue to emerge, it becomes increasingly clear that Brittany Murphy's death was far from an accident. The connections between Diddy and Ashton Kutcher and the eerie similarities to Kim Porter's death paint a picture of systemic abuse and corruption within Hollywood's elite circles. While official reports may label these deaths as coincidental or natural, the overwhelming evidence suggests a much darker reality.